Good evening, it's Kuro. Got a tier 9 game in my Z23. Going over matchmaking. The threats to my ship would be the enemy Alaska, the Indianapolis. Rounds out the radar threats. Fletcher, Asashio, and Vakulan round out the destroyer threats. Shores and Otago could also be a threat as far as their ability to inflict pain on a destroyer that gets spotted. The map is Crash Zone Alpha, one of my favorites, 4-cap domination, and I have the Northern DD spawn. This is one of my favorite spawns on this map, and I am going to push up here to decap. And while we do that, we're going to talk some trash about the Z23 because it is the lowest of the low as far as tier 8 DDs are concerned, and you know, it's one of those destroyers that I've been talking about for a few years that it needs some serious attention to bring this ship back around to the realm of even semi-competitive. And the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the 5 kilometer hydro, 6.2 kilometer surface detection. It That is very painful to try to use your hydro in an offensive manner. It's my personal opinion that Wargaming should be using the German destroyer line to push, as the vehicle to push offensive hydro plays from destroyers. And really the only destroyer that you see that can pull that off is the Z52. And that's simply because its concealment is so close to its hydroacoustic range that it can bump into DDs. Like here, I get spotted by a DD, and unless it's the Vakulan, I've got no chance here of pushing this DD, even just with the 3 ships spotted. I you know against the Fletcher, I'd be looking at closing almost a half a kilometer before being able to push them, and I would be fighting a DD that has vastly more firepower than me. Even the Asashio has more HE DPM than a Z23. So this ship is very limited. And yes, I am running the 128 millimeter guns. I'm running the 128 millimeter guns because they, even with the 4 barrels, they still offer the highest DPM that you have out of the gun configurations that you're given with the ship. Now, this is basically one of the few uses of offensive hydro that you're going to be able to run into. I see that the enemy team is kiting out, and I make a play, turn back in, and try to rush the DD, see what I can spot. See that it's the Asashio. He's sitting on the cap. I force the Asashio to smoke up. So now I'm going to rush him with hydro. Now that his smoke screen is negating my concealment, and I've got room between, you know, the enemy Alaska and Indianapolis are outside radar range. So I'm just going to rush in here and basically hydro out this Asashio, try to take the cap, and in the meantime dump some torps at this Colorado that's making the rookie mistake of sailing in front of an island. Now I can't go too deep. I'd love to chase this guy all the way into the smoke and really make it stick, but I don't want to get too deep into radar, and you can see that I'm getting into both radars right now. So I'm just going to turn around, play it safe, fall back, and you know, my team was able to lop about half the HP off the Asashio during this process. My torpedoes are looking good on the enemy Colorado. The torpedoes are fairly good on this destroyer. It's one of the few saving graces the ship has. You know, 9.5 kilometer range. Relatively light alpha with something like 14.5k. But 90-second reload means that you don't really need to spec into your torpedoes all that much if you don't want to. So here, just circling back around, staying outside radar range. Um, don't know if the Asashio was going to come back. Was just trying to pick this cap up because, um, I mean, it's a golden opportunity for me to pick up a capture point. Now, this is going to be some textbook torpedo positioning. Take a look at my team. I've got a Georgia that he's overextended. He's kiting south. He's probably going to get wrecked soon. But I have a Jean Bart out here that's doing a good job bow tanking. What I want to do, we've got an enemy Lion that's pushing up, chasing the Georgia. I want to open a crossfire on him. He's angling at my Jean Bart, so my Jean Bart really can't do that much to him. An inexperienced destroyer player would torp from this angle or less because you've got the torpedoes, get them in the water. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for this turn because he's going to turn to angle a bit more to my Jean Bart. Now, I do lead this turn a little too much. I thought he was going to turn a little bit more than he did, and I'm being greedy here. I launched a really tight set. I see that most of these torps are going to miss, so I'm going to smoke up right now and get to work. I actually wait till the smoke envelops me, so I'm not going to be spotted on the mini-map because I know there's an Alaska out here. But I do pick up the torpedo hit on the Lion, and just going to switch back to HE and just try to work this guy over, get some fires on him. Now here, switching to AP could also net a bunch of damage. Just trying to get as many fires on this ship as quickly as possible. And in hindsight, with this being the Lion, it's got a decent sized repair party on it. Maybe a better bet for, you know, long term is just using my AP here because he's not good. He can repair back all the fire damage, but the AP pen damage, he's not going to be able to repair back all of it. So maybe in hindsight, using AP would have been better here. Now, just an Alaska here that's shooting at me. I feel pretty safe here. Alaska's kind of got some wonky dispersion and not a lot of DPM out of the ship. And with 32 millimeters of pen on my guns, I can rack up pretty reliable amounts of damage. I am going to go dark here though, throw some torpedoes out. Now take a look at the crossfire situation that I'm forcing these enemies into. This Alaska is doing a good job. He's angling at my Jean Bart. My Jean Bart can't really do anything about him right now. But with my torpedoes coming through here, he's either going to have to eat my torpedoes or risk giving broadside to my Jean Bart. Torpedoes are looking like they're on point. I'm just going to stay dark for now. I don't want to get detected when I still don't have smoke, and the Alaska and the Lion can shoot at me. So just playing it safe here. You can see the turnout right here. He's basically forced to give 100% broadside to my Jean Bart. Unfortunately, my Jean Bart isn't able to really take advantage of the situation I kind of set him up with. But now that the Lion has tucked in behind the island, I'm gonna just throw some shots out here on the Alaska. Maybe I get lucky, I get a fire or something. I do get a base defense off him, and I'm just gonna keep rolling south and hook back up with my Lion, or excuse me, my Jean Bart, come back around this island and push back in here to see what I can scout and torp for my team. So if you guys have watched my recent Moss video, you can see the difference in DPM between the Tier 7 Moss, and the Tier 8 Z23. This is as good as it gets with the Z23. I've got a 19-point captain on it. It just doesn't get any better. And Moss in a 19-point configuration has 25,000 additional additional damage per minute on top of this ship. That's 25%. The ship only tops out at about 100,000 100,000 damage per minute before calculating in things like adrenaline rush, that kind of thing. And that's really rough for a tier 8 DD, particularly something as visible as this DD. The issue is that the more visible a DD is, typically the more gun power it needs to have in order to remain competitive. It's one thing if you know, a sneaky torpedo boat pushes in and detects you. If you're such a threat, that DD doesn't want to pick a fight with you. Then you end up in the situation where, you know, you just get surface spotted, but that DD is not actually going to want to pick a fight with you. This ship, you've got the worst of the worst. You get spotted from the moon, and just about anything in Tier 8, and even a lot of the Tier 7s, will want to pick a fight with you. And you just can't have that as a balancing point in the game. It's just not going to work. So just trying to get some damage in on this Gneiss now. Saving my torpedoes in case he pushes right up into me. But he goes down. There's a DD on the cap. Now, this game, my team cannot lose this. So I'm going to make an aggressive play out here, rush out here to see what kind of damage I can get on this DD, and basically try to drive up my score. So unfortunately, it's the Fletcher, not the Asashio. So this ship has a lot more DPM than I do. So I'm basically going to shoot this ship up. He ends up taking a big hit there. He does smoke up, and unfortunately I can't drop off. So I'm just going to throw my torpedoes out into the smoke. Maybe I get lucky. And I'm just going to switch target to this Lion because, again, I know I'm going down here. Maybe I get a fire. But regardless, the additional damage is nice for my score because it is a Tier 9 ship, and I am a lowly Tier 8. Fletcher does put me down. Taking a look at my torps. Unfortunately, I launched those torps a little too wide, and didn't really fully cover that smoke screen correctly. The Fletcher's able to avoid it. I didn't get a fire on the enemy Lion, so the damage that I yielded there was not much, but it's one of those things. It's a little bit extra damage for the scoreboard, and you know, that's not a bad thing. So this one's going to be ending here shortly. Got the enemy Lion starting to get focus fired. So what do you guys think about Z23? I think that the only redeeming quality that the ship has right now is its torpedoes, but there's some significant love that it needs. I have made a forum post on the North American World of Warships forum, going over some balancing factors for the German DD line, and talk specifically about this ship. but I'm interested in what you guys are thinking, and maybe we get lucky and somebody at War Game really looks at it and goes, you know what, that is kind of dumb that the Tier 7 has 25% more gun power than the Tier 8 DD. Um, I mean that's at least my hope because this I really love the Z23 back before they buffed the low yang and really just dumpstered the hydro the uh, on the Z23. Ideally, I'd like to see the Z23 and Z46 all get the Z52 treatment. They get the 6 kilometer hydro with a 6.2 kilometer concealment, and that way you have a 200-meter buffer for DDs to kind of work around, and but that gives you a small enough buffer that you can actually bump into DDs and you can actually use that smoke in an offensive manner. Um, Other things, reducing the smoke bloom on the Z23. If you guys haven't looked at the stats, the ship is stuck with a smoke bloom for 150 millimeter for the 150 millimeter guns, which drastically cuts into the uh, the usable uh, space that you have between your 5 kilometer hydro and your something like 3.38 kilometer smoke firing range. You end up with a very small window there where you can actually shoot at DDs and things like that. And I mean, for a ship with this low DPM, you just can't have that. So anyway, I'm interested in hearing what you guys think about Z23. Leave your comments below. Um, I hope you guys are having a good night. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. As usual, I will leave the build description below in the video description, as well as invites to my Patreon and community Discord. And I hope you guys have a good night.